So, Cowboys Nation, staring down an offseason that honestly feels like it could go 100 different ways. We finished last season at 7-9, missed the playoffs for the second straight year, but you know what? The offense was actually rolling. Under Brian Schottenheimer, we had one of the more efficient attacks in the entire NFL. Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb were doing their thing. The problem, and I mean the glaring can't ignore it problem, was the defense. 30th in total defense. That's not just bad, that's historically awful for a team with Super Bowl aspirations. And that's why everything happening right now matters so much. We brought in Christian Parker as defensive coordinator, which I actually like, but look, scheme only gets you so far. You need players, you need difference makers, you need guys who can step on the field week one and immediately raise the floor of this unit. That's what we're missing. That's what we've been missing since we traded Micah Parsons to Green Bay. Speaking of that trade, let's talk about it for a second, because it tells you everything about where this franchise is at. We sent Parsons, arguably the best defensive player we've had in years, to the Packers and got back Kenny Clark and 2 first-round picks. Then we flipped one of those picks for Quinnen Williams. So we traded a generational pass rusher and ended up with 2 defensive tackles. How'd that work out? Well, we went from having an identity on defense to having none. We went from having a guy who could wreck games to having a rotation of solid players who don't scare anybody, and the results speak for themselves. Now we're sitting here with pick number 12 and pick number 20, and the logical move seems pretty straightforward. Draft 2 defensive starters who can play right away. Maybe grab an edge rusher, maybe grab a corner, or maybe grab a linebacker. Whatever the biggest need is, you attack it twice. You don't get cute, you don't overthink it, you just add talent to the side of the ball that's been killing you. But here's where it gets interesting. According to Chad Reuter over at NFL.com, there's a prediction out there that has the Cowboys trading pick number 20 to the Buffalo Bills. And what are we getting back? A 3rd-round pick, a 4th-round pick, and we're sending a 6th-rounder along with the 1st. That's it. The Bills would do this to draft Denzel Boston, this big wide receiver out of Washington, because they think he could be Josh Allen's true number 1. From their perspective, I get it. They're trying to win now, they're going all in. From our perspective, it's confusing, it's frustrating, and honestly, it's terrifyingly realistic, because this is exactly the kind of move we've seen Dallas make before. We don't need more 3rd and 4th round picks. We don't need more depth projects. We need starters. We need guys who can walk in the building and be difference makers from day one. That's the only way you go from 7-9 to legitimate NFC contender in one offseason. Now, there is some good news in all of this. Both Reuter and Mel Kiper Jr. have the Cowboys selecting Sonny Styles out of Ohio State with pick number 12. And look, if you've watched any film on this kid, you know what I'm talking about. He's 6'5", 243 pounds, explosive, violent, can play sideline to sideline, can blitz, can cover. The Micah Parsons comparisons are real. The crazy thing is we're drafting in the exact same slot where we took Parsons 5 years ago. And Styles profiles in a very similar way. Elite second-level defender who can do everything you ask from a modern linebacker. This is the type of player we desperately need. Someone who can set the tone, someone who can be a leader, someone who can make plays that change games. Because right now, we don't have that. We have solid players, we have guys who do their jobs, but we don't have anyone on defense who makes offenses game plans specifically to avoid them. That's what Styles could be. That's what we need him to be. But here's my question, and I really want to hear from you guys on this. If we draft Sonny Styles at 12, which seems like the right move, what do we do with pick 20? Do we double down on defense and grab another immediate starter? Do we trade back and collect more picks like the prediction says? Or do we get aggressive and package that pick in a trade for an established veteran who can help us right now? Because the other side of this equation is free agency, and there are some names out there that actually make a ton of sense for what we're trying to build. Let me run through a few of them, and you tell me who you prioritize.
Starting on offense, even though that's not the biggest need, Tyler Algier from the Atlanta Falcons could be a nice addition at running back. He's 225 pounds, physical, had over 1,000 rushing yards as a rookie back in 2022. Now, I know we want to bring back Javonte Williams after his breakout season, and we absolutely should. But you need depth at that position. You need someone who can spell him and keep the offense balanced over a long season. Algier fits that role perfectly. On defense, this is where it gets really interesting. Reed Blankenship, safety from the Philadelphia Eagles. He spent the last 2 years playing under Christian Parker, so he already knows the system. He's a strong communicator, assignment sound, exactly what you want on the back end. Plus, stealing a productive player from Philly. I mean, come on, that's just extra motivation. Nakobe Dean, linebacker, also from the Eagles. Another Parker connection. He's dealt with some injuries, which is the only reason he might be available. But when he's healthy, he's fast, physical, high football IQ. The linebacker room needs speed and instinct, and Dean provides both. This would be a calculated risk, but the upside is worth it. Alontae Taylor, corner from the New Orleans Saints. This one feels almost mandatory. Jerry Jones openly admitted we made a mistake letting Jordan Lewis walk. We undervalued the nickel corner position and paid the price for it all season. Taylor is an excellent slot corner who can also play outside if needed. In today's NFL, the slot corner is basically a starter. He'd immediately stabilize a weak point in our secondary. Odafe Oweh from the Los Angeles Chargers, edge rusher. Look, since trading Parsons, the pass rush hasn't been the same. Even if we draft an edge at 12 or 20, that doesn't mean we should ignore this position in free agency. Oweh came strong after a mid-season trade. He's still ascending, and he'd give us flexibility in the draft. We wouldn't have to reach if the top edge rushers are gone by the time we pick. And then there's the dream signing. Riq Woolen, cornerback from the Seattle Seahawks. This kid is 6'4", 210 pounds, tied for the league lead in interceptions as a rookie in 2022. He's got rare size and speed, and he hasn't been the best fit under Mike Macdonald in Seattle, which is why he might hit the open market. If he does, we need to be all over it. Even if we sign Alontae Taylor, you can never have too many quality corners, especially with how pass-heavy the NFC has become. So putting it all together, here's what I think needs to happen. We draft Sonny Styles at 12, no question. At 20, we either draft another defensive starter or we use that pick aggressively in free agency to land multiple impact players. We cannot afford to trade back for third and fourth round picks when our defense is this broken and our offense is ready to compete right now. This is a win-now roster offensively. We can't waste another year of Dak and CD because the defense can't get stops. The 2026 offseason is about identity. It's about finally committing to building a defense that matches offense. It's about whether this front office is ready to make the moves that actually win in January and February, not just September. Because playing it safe, collecting picks, hoping things work out, that's gotten us nowhere. We've been doing that for years, and where has it gotten us? 7 wins and sitting at home in January. I want to know what you guys think. Would you trade pick 20 for those third and fourth rounders, or would you use both firsts on defense? Which free agents would you prioritize? Is Sonny Styles the guy who can anchor this defense for the next decade? Let me know in the comments, because this is the most important offseason we've had in years, and the decisions we make right now will determine whether we're contenders or pretenders in 2026.